Yeah, talk. This is how I'll do it. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
I just wondered how handles don't get hot on a hot drink.
You know, have you ever thought about how the brain came up with its own name?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Guys, welcome back to another Q&A because it is Friday, where Paddy has returned to join myself to answer all of your questions from the wonderful world of football. So, without any further ado, from Hugh Mung ASS. Oh, for fuck's sake, he's just ripped me off there, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Humongous. Yeah. It's actually really good.
For fuck's sake. Yeah, humongous has absolutely had my life.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll just say from Hugh, okay? Okay, good. Next up from Hugh, who has said, is Jović going back to Madrid or will Chelsea buy him permanently?
Yeah, so this is a good question. I don't think we've seen the best of Jović at Chelsea, mostly because of the problems they've had. He's been employed in quite a few amounts of positions. Hasn't really played a long string of games in a row at all whatsoever. There's been form problems for the team overall, not just him. So we haven't seen the best of him. I think that his future will depend on Sarri. If Sarri stays, I actually can see Jović possibly staying as well. If a new man comes in, I think they'll completely clean the slate. All these loans, everything will just stop, and the new man will have his chance to make that decision.
I'm sure Zidane had his own thoughts on Jović at Real Madrid if he was to come in. I feel like, unfortunately, when you go on loan and don't actually play that well, it leaves you in limbo. Because if the club that you've gone to see you're not so good enough, and the club that you've come from, your parent club, also say you haven't really impressed, you're left in between. I feel like James is in the same situation as Bayern.
Yeah.
You come back and you don't really know. You're kind of stuck between the two where...
But especially with Jović, I mean, he's got the potential to have a new club at Chelsea next year, a new coach at Chelsea next year if he stays, or a new coach at Real Madrid if he returns.
Yeah,
so he's basically completely up in limbo, either way.
He could go to be the successor to Modric. If Modric leaves, maybe,
yeah. And obviously, guys, on all things Chelsea, Matt's already got a video out with the 5 potential replacements for Sarri if he is to get the flick. But next question, and let's change tact a little bit and team. From Sayendip Banik, one of our better providers of some cool questions. Is Luis Suárez finished, or is it just a bad run of form? Who can replace him?
Oh, in terms of who can replace him, actually, as you mentioned it, watch out in the next few weeks. A separate video will be coming out on some potential replacements, featuring the likes of Luka Jović.
So that's who you think?
I think so. He's the one, it seems most plausible because, and no disrespect to Frankfurt or to our German channel host, who I'm sure I have something to say about it, it seems like the easiest to buy from, the less competitive in terms of from club to club. I don't think Frankfurt can offer anything that Barca can.
That makes sense, yeah.
They're not buying from another potential European champion.
Yeah.
Whether it's a bad run of form, I think, yeah. I think Barcelona are in a bit of a dip at the moment. They've won one game this month, and that was the Valladolid game. Apart from that, they hadn't won since the end of January in the second leg against Sevilla. So I think he'll get back onto it. He's a fantastic player. Yeah,
and they've still got Dembele, who's, they're easing back from injury, so it's not like they're short of quality there, but maybe a Jović could be an interesting one. But that actually takes us on, it's a really nice segue to our next question, Matt.
Yes, from someone. An interesting name there. Which club do you think Luka Jović should sign for? Chelsea, Bayern, Barca, Real Madrid, or stay in his present club? Well, we'll say his present club is actually Benfica, as he's on loan at Frankfurt.
Yeah, but Frankfurt have a very, very decent buy option for Jović. So I think it's just a matter of time. I think it's under 10 million euros from memory. So it's just a matter of time before they make that official. Whether he'll play much longer in Frankfurt colours as a permanent player remains to be seen. So who are the clubs here? Chelsea, Bayern, Barcelona, Real Madrid. I think Spain would be the most logical choice for him. I think it will suit his type of play. Jović is the sort of player who's had a lot of talent, a lot of potential for a long time. A few behavioural problems at Benfica just when he looked like he was going to make it. Fell out a little bit with the discipline side of things, of what the club expected from him. But I think, to be honest, Spain, either Barcelona or Real Madrid, could be a really good place for him to develop next. If he leaves Frankfurt at all, they'll be trying to hold on to him, but as we know, money will talk in this situation.
I was going to say, they can sign him for that clause of around 8 million, and then the next day take 40 or 50 from Barcelona.
It's not too bad, huh? Not too bad,
That's a great turnover.
So next one, and this is a mouthful, apologies in advance. I always get these ones, Shankodeep Chatterjee Sorry about that. Okay, here goes. And it's a great question, though. Here goes. Which players could have won the Ballon d'Or in the last 10 years if Messi and Ronaldo weren't playing football?
Wow.
It's a great question.
I can't go through every single year.
No, but
a few.
Let's say a few names over the last 10 years. Let's pretend you can only win this award if you hadn't had tax problems.
Right, okay. Well, I'm sure that's most players. Modric, I think, deserved it before this year.
Yep.
Neymar I'd put up in there as well. It's a fantastic years of Barcelona. Wow, I think he's had an unbelievably standout season.
I got something for you. Xavi finished third 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
To be fair, Xavi. Yeah, Iniesta.
Buffon probably could have as well.
I'd have put Robin the year Munich won the Champions League 2013.
Even Torres had that amazing season when he finished third as well. So, you know, if you have a look at that, there could have been a real...
Basically Spain.
It could have been a real variety of winners if these two hadn't been around.
But it always comes down to what you've won versus what you've done individually.
What does that even mean?
Because, I mean, Gonzalo Higuain had that season with Napoli. Smash records, 36 goals, unbelievable. But Napoli didn't win anything. Yeah,
it does contribute for sure.
The Champions League winner has been Ronaldo for the last
But there you go,
3 years.
A couple of good names. And thanks to that question, Shandogi, it's actually a great one. Yeah.
But we do also want to hear from you guys as well. Who would have been your winners in the last 10 years? And you can also hit the subscribe button down there whilst you're letting us know in the comment section your Ballon d'Or favourites.
Please do it now.
Yes.
You're up.
To me, from Mr. Congruent. That's a great name as well. I'm not sure these numbers afterwards. Maybe 1, 2, 3?
2, 3?
Or is that 23 hours ago? No, we've gone off on a different tangent.
Let's maybe do this one again.
Okay. From Mr. Congruent 1, 2, 3, he said, quick fire, Matt and someone else. Right, I'm going to hit you with these.
Sure.
Leroy Sané or Anthony Martial?
As good as Martial has been, Sané in the long run.
Yeah, good choice. De Gea or Alisson?
Oh, I think for all the hype, I think De Gea is still going to be better in the long run.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe we're agreeing. Antoine Griezmann or Mbappe?
Mbappe.
Yeah. All right, 3 out of 3.
Jesus, we all agree. Give us some questions that we don't. This show is far more entertaining when we disagree. All right, my turn now. Again, a bit of a quick fire for you. Actually, not a quick fire, sorry, a multiple choice. Again, a great little question, and again, a great mouthful for me. From Himon Giotti Parasa. Hope I did that one okay. Matt, this one's tailor-made for you.
Right.
Which one do you prefer? Number 1, Spurs signing a new player, which would be the first time in over a year, and impossible at the moment as well, unless it's a free transfer. 2, Spurs winning a trophy under Pochettino. 3, Spurs returning to White Hart Lane ASAP. Great question.
Oh, the trophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the new player thing.
Clear?
Yeah. The new player thing, we pretty much deal with it pretty well without somebody in once since last January. The new stadium would be lovely, and the cheese room and the brewery and whatever else. But yeah, none of that's going to go down.
So we got trophy. Then what's number 2?
The stadium.
Stadium.
And the new player.
And then the new player. Jeez.
The squad looks okay.
You may have to wait a while for.
Yeah. For all 3 of them. Yeah. The question should have been which one's going to come first, and then we could order them.
Exactly.
Because that's anyone's game. Right. Oh, actually, we've got another one from Signed It.
Go for it.
Does that matter? Oh, okay. Yeah. So the next one, again from Signed It Bannock. This is proof that some excellent questions do get into the Q&A. Has CR7 lost his X factor in the Champions League as his form in the season's competition has been abysmal? I will say he has scored 1 goal in the last 9 Champions League games.
So I mean, statistically, yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been his most probably inferior campaign to date so far. It's still probably not abysmal, as Sonia Dupas sort of said here. It's been a tough couple of weeks, I think, for Ronaldo. There's been a few doubts and a lot of stats drawn out that compares his seasons to last. He's not getting any younger. Let's be honest.
Yeah, true.
And he still is producing. I think it's a bad time, particularly 2 days after they had a poor result against Atleti, and he's the first one who gets in the gun basically when that sort of thing happens. So yes, I mean, I don't think he's lost his X factor. I think he is getting a bit older, and this sort of thing will happen. We'll see his effect start to diminish as it goes, but I still think he's a fantastic player, and long may he perform in the Champions League for us.
I think the story of his career is write him off at your peril.
Yes, exactly.
as many teams have found out.
Next one from me, and Juventus focused again. Again, a nice little segue. Whoever arranged these questions did a really good job, didn't they? Yeah. From Raki Kumar, what does Juventus lack to win the Champions League, or are they a complete team? If they're not, who should they sign to complete that team? Hashtag Onefootball English, hashtag Q&A, hashtag love your videos.
I think they are a very good team. I don't think they're the best team in the best shape to win the Champions League. However, with Ronaldo, as we've just mentioned, that little spark, that little kind of get you out of trouble, as Juventus found out last year with that last-minute penalty. I just think you can't write them off with Ronaldo. As for a player to bring in who would make the team, for me, they need a midfield powerhouse like they had with Pogba. I think Pjanic is a good player. He's not necessarily sort of the most, he kind of takes the game by the scruff of the neck. He's not overly physical or athletic. He's very much a slower Serie A player. Still fantastic. Khedira's best years are past him.
Definitely.
For me, the same with Matuidi. Yeah. Emre Can has been a good signing on a free. I'm not quite sure he's at that level. And Aaron Ramsey coming in, a good player. I'm not sure he's at that level. If they could bring Pogba back, he's the guy.
There you go. Great.
Yeah.
You're up.
Cool. So, from Suraj Kurande, who has said, should James Rodriguez come back to Real Madrid, and if yes, what position? Much like the Kovacic dilemma.
This is a good question. You mentioned him earlier. He really, when he has played at Bayern, he's actually done quite well, but it's clear that Kovac doesn't trust him or his personality or the approach, or believes that a player like James has a long-term fit in his tactical approach. And that's leaves him in a bit of limbo, because he's obviously getting quite a big amount of money from Bayern, and potentially I think a little bit from Real Madrid still as well. He's going to be expensive to bring over, and I don't see his long-term future at Bayern, even despite the fact that he has played well when he has been presented the opportunities. So he loves Madrid. He would happily go back. A lot will depend on that new coach, though. Do they see a future at James in that team under a new coach?
I think it's the same as Kovacic. They're both waiting to see if either club's got a new manager.
There's some massive decisions for Real Madrid and their new boss, if Solari does not stay, to make, because there's a couple of really talented players who are also on quite a bit of money and could command quite a bit of money if they were to sell them. Do they have a future at the club? Depends on the new man.
Off the cuff, you're the new Real Madrid manager. Do you keep Kovacic or Rodriguez? You can only keep one.
I would probably keep Jović, even though I think Rodriguez is the more talented player.
You'd get more money for him though if you sold him.
That's not what I was thinking, but it's also true. No, I just think tactically, I think I like Kovacic having someone like Jović as a good number 6.
Why are we agreeing today?
Let's try and mix it up. You've actually got 2 in a row.
Yes.
Mate.
Ibrahim Ben Hajruma has said, do you think Dortmund have a chance of staying in the Champions League? Short answer.
Whose question is this? Mine or yours?
Yeah. You go ahead.
So I was there. Unfortunately, I think at 1-0, Dortmund still had a chance. At 2-0, Dortmund still had a chance. At 3-0, it's going to be almost impossible. There's maybe some good news on the injury front with a couple of players to come back for that tie. But at 3-0, it's going to take a bit of a miracle. That being said, Dortmund have seen the opposite happen to them in recent years in European football, where they've held commanding leads and then thrown them away. So anything could happen, but the odds are very much stacked against them.
So I was ready to jump in and fight for Spurs.
And again, we agree. Okay, and I think we're going to agree on this next one too.
Yes.
From Tusha Achara, is Son Heung-min world class?
Oh, well, yes.
Yes, I agree too.
Yeah, I mean, to produce that consistent level and energy and playing for 90 minutes, and I think he's played in something like 6 different competitions this season. If you include the Asian Games, the Asian Cup, and then the 4 that Spurs are in. To fly around the world in 6 competitions and be that good and that, the pressure as well when someone like Harry Kane is injured for 6 weeks.
100%.
Is phenomenal.
We spoke about Suarez and potential replacements for him, and I know you'd hate to see it, but I could really see Son slotting into either side of that front three for Barcelona.
I'd hate to say it, but I think he'd get more recognition as a world-class player
100%.
if he was at a bigger club.
100%, yeah.
I'm not throwing shade on my own team there, but
it's pretty logical.
It's true.
Yeah.
Right. Up next, Dino Man AJ has said, should Modric, Varane and Marcelo So the next one up is from Dino Man AJ, who said, should Modric, Varane and Marcelo all go to Juventus? And
Is it like... Sorry, are you
half
done?
the team.
Yeah.
And secondly, why did Salah cut his beard?
That's an interesting two-parter.
Yeah.
Let me start with the first one. Modric, Varane and who was it?
Modric, Varane and Marcelo.
So I think Juventus should be careful not to become the retirement home for Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's true.
That being said, I do think that Madrid are in a state where we're going to see a bit of a breakup of this nucleus that that has been there for so many years now. And I think Modric and Marcelo are two potentials to leave the club at the end of the season. I think that would be folly to let Varane leave at this point. He's just coming into the prime of his career, or it should be at least, and should be the player that they build this team around when Ramos, for example, is all done.
That would be a phenomenal amount of money for all three.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Although Marcelo probably, it's a very nominative amount, but certainly the wages aren't going to be expensive. But Modric, I would like to see him actually in Italy at some point. I think
Inter Milan.
Yeah, Inter Milan have been into him for a while.
Yeah.
I think he could really just have that Pirlo effect. When the game is a little bit slower, a little bit more tactical, I think he could excel in that. And I think that could be a really cool, way for him to see out his career.
And why did Mo Salah cut his beard?
I don't know. Yeah.
I just think it's a regular beard shave. We all do it.
He's just gone in the bathroom one day and gone, you know what? It's time for a change. I prefer the beard if Mo's watching. I'm sure he is. But it does make him look younger, so there you go.
I don't know why it's such a big deal. I mean, surely footballers shave their beard.
He did make a big deal of it on Instagram, so, good on him.
There you go.
I think it's our last question, actually, now. And a nice way to finish with a bit of a quick fire to go towards you, Matt. So, from Varad Gotika, quick fire, Barcelona to win the Champions League?
Yes, they're my favourite along with Man City.
Okay. Icardi to Real Madrid?
Yes, we've seen that happening.
Where will De Ligt go, Barca or Juve?
Barca.
Bayern to win the Bundesliga?
Yes, actually.
Solari to get the Real Madrid job on a permanent basis?
Yes.
It was all yes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You and Varad are like this,
Yeah,
man.
we're like this. Yeah, we spoke about it before the show.
Of course you did.
He's like, give me a shout out.
Yeah, of course you did.
I can see Solari, yeah. I don't think there's a better option.
I disagree with that one in particular, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll save that for another video.
That's it.
That is it, though. That is all from me and Paddy for this week. Don't forget, guys, to keep your questions coming in. You can leave them under all of our daily news as well, and we'll pick them up and sort them out. And some genius, whoever puts them together in such a fantastic order, will work his magic. But as we mentioned before, leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments section. And also hit the subscribe button whilst you're down there. But until next Friday's Q&A, we'll see you guys later.